Welcome to the mystery. Maybe you do not know. I am Maria. Wish you a good day. The legend of the giant sea snake. In July 1897, the French battleship Havelange encountered sea monsters called giant sea serpents up to 3 times in a long bay. The cannon was torn but did not touch it. Before Avalanche, other ships also met giant sea snakes. Since then, sea snake has become one of the biggest mysteries of zoology. Facts and legends. The British escort vessel Daedalus makes its way from Antilles to Cap. On August 6, 1848, at 16 o'clock. In the southern Atlantic between the island of St. Helena and the Cap of Bon Esperance, also known as the Cape of the Giants, located in southern Africa, pure northwest breeze and clear sky. Officer Sartoris suddenly saw a suspicious object in the mass bubble wave. Sartoris immediately warned Mkwae on the pier. The animals that float to the sea surface are seen as giant sea snakes. The head of the monster protrudes 2 meters above the water. Some of its body is clearly visible over 15 meters. Monsters swim along the ship, keeping a distance. When it appears under the ship's hull, at the port side, at the side of the ship, both crew members were watching the monster for about 20 minutes. It is a curious fact that 10 years later, at this point, Carnatic Commander Shuckling also witnessed the same scene. At first, he believed it was a long wooden stick, the remnant of the mast. But immediately afterwards he saw this mast move and apparently had a head jutting out. The monster has a few details that seem to resemble the monster that the Daedalus saw. The reports of these 2 captains made the British media at that time consuming ink. These evidences continued to be verified by the sailors' recurring narratives, in which the most serious story of the Gulf of Along occurred on February 25, 1904. A strange black streak. That day, the artillery battalion Ladysade was preparing to exercise under the command of Lieutenant Colonel Liost. In the afternoon, Liost noticed a 300-meter black mark on the port side of the ship. Its surface is covered with thick algae that look like fish scales. Ladysade gunboat approached the black line. A canoe is prepared to drop into the sea. Everyone on the train was silent watching. Surprisingly, the reefs move as strongly as the movement of seismic. That is an acceptable hypothesis. Surprisingly, the sea was still quiet, except for the slight whirlpool created by the rocks. A few seconds elapsed, Leos cut off the engines. Now the lieutenant no longer believes in seismic movement, but rather as one or more animals without knowing what the species is. Leost has not yet ordered to drop canoes into the sea. Suddenly rocks changed shape. To everyone's amazement, a giant animal appeared as a brown-skinned reptile. Cannot see the animal's head. Surprise, snake disappears. Soon after, the mysterious sea creature appeared 150 meters away. This time it moved very fast and people saw the triangular head and its folded eye. The solid head diameter is about 80 centimeters. Monsters do not seem to see the ship. According to legend, this sea serpent has tremors for many generations of sailors, but this time it seems harmless. It sailed behind the ship, rose for a few seconds on the starboard side of the ship and eventually dived. Analysis of zoology. It is evident that the existence of the giant sea snake has haunted many zoologists and zoologists. In 1893, the Dutch zoologist Oudemans published a book on the mystery, giant sea snake. He concluded that it was a pinnipede, which looked like a plesiosaur and was named Megaphaius megaphaius. The description of the Oudemans is based on the collection of many animals. In 1965, Bernard Heuvelmans published a book on the subject. Through hundreds of proofreading studies, Heuvelmans wants to prove that giant sea snakes have complex origins. The animals observed, but not determined at the time of the event. Recorded: elephant shark, Cetorhinus maximus, Archaeoteuthis, Ragulcus sclane, giant hornfish like Linus longissimus. Animals not closely related to snake species have not been identified. According to the Heuvelmans, the long neck is obviously a finite species, while 4 other species are probably whale-necked. The hump is certainly close to the Zeuglodonti. The latest evidence of sea snakes. On July 30, 1915, the U-28 submarine sank the British Iberian submarine and exploded at a depth of 100 to 200 meters. With the ship's fragments shattering, a 20-meter-high giant sea crocodile was also knocked high and fell into the water. On December 30, 1947, the American passenger ship Santa Clara collided with an eel-like creature about 15 meters long off the coast of North Carolina. The animal was then injured to death and blood spilled into the sea. In October 1969, at a depth of 270 meters off the Bermudes, the Alvin submarine face-to-face with a giant reptilian head and long neck. Unfortunately, the animal dived before it was filmed. In April 1977, Japanese fisherman Zuo Maru caught a giant more than 10 meters long. The photographs show a long-necked dinosaur. But unfortunately, the fisherman dumped the animal into the sea for not being able to withstand the stench of it. They are gorgeous creatures, their skin is silver with turquoise streaks and crimson veins, said Rick Feeney, curator of marine life at the Los Angeles Museum of Natural History. He added, the shape of the sea snake makes them perfectly camouflaged in the water. Humans can only admire that marvelous beauty whenever they rise to the surface. This event is almost like encountering aliens. According to Feeney, it is quite rare for snake bite to land in shallow water near shore. Only about 500 cases have been recorded since 1700 in many parts of the world, including the UK, Australia, USA, Mexico, Costa Rica, and Japan. In 2013, 2 sea serpents died and drifted to a beach in the United States in just 1 week. Marine biologists immediately collected specimens and sent samples to organizations interested in the giant fish. So far, the reason why sea snakes washed up on the shore is still a great mystery. Many assumptions have been made, including storms, mattings, famine, and illness. Rick Feeney argues that red tides, predators, oceanic climate change, and humans are contributing factors to the phenomenon of shoreline snakes. In Japan there are even legends about sea snakes capable of predicting earthquakes. However, Feeney rejected this hypothesis. Scientists are hoping that the development of science and technology will bring modern means to unravel the mystery of a sea creature that has become legendary. Thank you for watching the video. Please like and subscribe to follow other videos. Goodbye and see you again.